Looking to enhance the appeal and performance of your gym with state-of-the-art equipment? Look no further than the Gym Administrator. Founded by Sal Corrente, professional wrestling manager, promoter, and author of the great book Bruno Sammartino, the autobiography of wrestling's living legend, available on Amazon.com, the Gym Administrator will spot you on that final rep and assist you every step of the way from purchase through installation, whether it be strength training, cardiovascular training, or performance enhancement. The Gym Administrator works with a wide array of leading vendors and suppliers, carefully selected to meet the diverse needs of your clientele. Service the way you remember it. Contact us at 914-494-1066 or visit our website at thegymadministrator.com, as well as all social media platforms. The Gym Administrator. All your fitness needs under one roof. Scan the barcode at the bottom of the screen to get started today.
Didn't mean to cut you off, Lil. You were going to say something.
For me, no. Well, I mean, I can't ask the next question. So, you did mention, Chuck, that I believe your second match in the WWF was a tag match with my all-time favorite wrestler, Paul Roma, against Andre the Giant and Haku. And, everything I just said was true, except for the fact that, Paul Roma is my favorite wrestler. Kind of far from it. But I have to know a couple of things. So one is, you took the elbow from Andre. Look, and Haku, that was kind of at the very end where, Andre was pretty immobile. And Haku was in the ring for most of the match. But you took the behind the back headbutt from Andre, and then you got the elbow. When you were laying there and you saw Andre getting ready to launch that elbow, did you make sure, did you think to yourself, all my bills are paid and my life insurance is paid and, all my affairs are in order? And that's the first half of the question. And then the second half is how did Andre treat, the enhancement guys? Was he good to him?
You never saw Andre. He was always playing cards and drinking his wine. You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah. And so I'll tell you the quick story about that. We saw the board. There's a chalkboard back then, and they put all the matches on there. We had to check in by 1:00 and go, get ready to find out who you're going to work with. Sometimes, it was I think they did 3 tapes in the night and during the night, and they were writing it down. Let's just make it for instance, Jake Roberts and George South, or Roddy Piper and whoever. And then they got to the third match. It's like Andre and Haku versus Paul Roma, and I'm watching. And I see my name, Chuck, slowly CHUCK. I'm thinking there's got to be another Chuck in here, right? Then my last name Coates. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Yeah. So that was surreal. Even today, it's like, did that really happen? And so we got in there, and I'm telling you. Haku comes over. He was so good. He's like, but he said, you watch our stuff. I said, I watch wrestling every week. He said, same thing. Get in there, beat you up a little bit, whatever. Tag Andre. He's going to do his thing. And I said, well, I'm familiar with the finish, He said, but brother, don't bother Andre while he's playing cards. I was like, okay. And I thought, okay, this is like 3:00, right? Taping starts at 7. Well, guess what? Andre played cards till 6:45, and I still hadn't talked to him. And so even though I knew the finish from watching him on television, I wanted to hear him tell me in case he wanted to change something. So about 10 minutes to 7, we're third match. I hear Haku. Andre's going, where is he? And Haku's got him by the elbow and taking him to me because I'm over in basically right there in the gorilla position waiting. And I'm thinking by this time, I'm just going to go out there and just do what I think's right. Because, Haku's already told me, well, he's going to. Andre grabs him by the shoulder and he says, when I give you your headbutt, you do not take bump. Do not go down. And I knew right then that meant so he can grab my arms, kick, and that's it. I was so glad to hear from him. And then we did it. It went off great. But, man, you're talking about nervous. Second match ever on television. And I'm going to go out there in front of all these people and screw up Andre's finish. But when he did the elbow, It is very. You got adrenaline and you got all that stuff going on in your body. You know, you're thinking it's something. Everything's happening. I didn't have time to register, but it did dawn on me for 1 second. If he misses that far, I'm dead.
Right.
Everything's coming down his rear end, and he literally lands that far from you. If he missed a guy, and like you said, his health was declining, and so maybe his mobility was off a bit. And there's a lot of stuff going on right then. He landed, and everything was fine, and I thought, thank God. And that was it. And afterwards, he was happy. He shook my hand. I'll never forget that handshake because it come up to my wrist. But he didn't. I mean, even top guys. He played cards, Brooklyn Brawler, and Crusher Khrushchev, which Demolition Smash, and there was maybe Jimmy Snuka. They would play Andre playing. I forget what he liked to play, but they would play the cards, and he drank 3 bottles of wine, get up like it didn't even faze him. But he played all day long. He played cards, and that's all he did. So he didn't have any interaction with nobody, really. I mean, I don't even remember the guy getting up going to the bathroom. I'm thinking surely he's got to go pee with that, 3 bottles of wine. But
one would think so, right?
you'd think, but I don't recall him ever getting up from the card table. He'd come back after the match, went right back to the table, sat down. If he was on again later, they just come get him when it was time, and that was it.
Now, there were certain guys that he did not like. I know for a fact Iron Sheik was one of them, and I guess the other one was Randy Savage. And I guess life was pretty bad if Andre didn't like you, right?
Exactly. And I guess he liked me because he thanked me afterwards and acted like, I guess getting a thank you from Andre and a handshake's pretty darn cool, But yeah, I'd heard it was Savage. I also heard that the only man he ever feared was Haku. Have you ever heard that?
No.
I've heard that the only man. This is just.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that, but
yeah, I don't. Like I said, it's what I've heard from 2 other different people. That's why he chose Haku as a partner, because it's the only guy that he feared in wrestling. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. I know Chris Owens would know the truth, but that's what I've always heard. I don't mean to start rumors, but I'd like to know if that was true or not. But
you ask 100 wrestling fans who was the toughest guy ever, and I guarantee you 100 people are going to say Haku, either 1 or 2.
He even working, he worked stiff, but even him working stiff, he could tell, man. He chopped me, and I mean, he manhandled me. If you watch the match on YouTube, but even working, I could tell something about a man who could rip you limb to limb.
Yeah.
You could just tell by his grip, by his everything about him. He's built like a tree trunk, and I mean, I knew if he wanted to destroy me, he could. And so, legs, his legs were huge. Everything about him, it was like wrestling a statue. I mean, what are you going to do? And
Right.
Yeah. He's had interactions with people in the last few years where he's done, for promotional whatever, he's done a chop or he's done, and people are still saying like 20 years plus after his prime is over, he still could probably rip you in half and beat you to death with your own legs. Like
I saw him back in the springtime at one of these conventions wrestling, and I went up to him. I said, "You won't remember me, and I showed him a picture. I had a picture on my phone. It was a screenshot of our match, and he actually he stopped. He said, "When was this, brother?" And I told him, and how you been? He had about a 2-minute conversation with me, and thanked me again. He said, "Thank you, brother, for making us look good," and just super cool. That was so neat. He, even if he was just shooting the crap to me, it was cool that he took that 2 or 3 minutes and talked to me about the match and asking me questions but that was neat seeing him all those years later and him still being nice, and thanking me for that. So he's doing more and more of these conventions. I see him more and more around. I don't know. A lot of these guys do them. You don't know if they need the money, if they just like signing their names or what, or, so many wrestlers are part of this now. And
I think once wrestling is in your blood, I think it's very hard to get it out.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but,
and I was going to say he was here about a year ago, convention, maybe a little more than a year ago, and has still had a huge line at the table and was drawing crowds. So it's good to see. I want to transition though, from the older to the new. You mentioned in prior interviews, because you were talking about shows and obviously in the chat here, and greetings everybody in the chat, again, active as always, and we love to see it. Welcome everyone. They were talking about, you know, your wrestling to Kiss comparison brought a nice discussion of what they would do with that, but the cost and everything. Point I'm getting at is the current product.